I still remember the day I told my friend Mike that running was ruining his knees. He looked at me like I was crazy. Every runner's worst nightmare is damaging their joints, right? But what he didn't realize until the end of our conversation is that most runners will experience some degree of knee damage if they don't take care of it properly. As a matter of fact, research shows that up to 60% of runners will develop overuse injuries within 6 months of starting a regular running routine. And I'm not just talking about minor issues like shin splints or plantar fasciitis. We're talking major problems like stress fractures and torn ligaments. But here's the part that still doesn't add up. Most of these injuries are caused by something as simple as overstriding. When runners take long strides, they put a lot of stress on their joints, particularly in the knees. And it's not just about the physical impact. Overstriding can also affect a runner's running form and make them more prone to other types of injuries. But I almost didn't include this detail because it seems so obvious. Most runners are unaware that they are overstriding until they've already developed problems. But here's what nobody tells you about overstriding. It's not just about the length of your stride, but also how quickly you're striking the ground. When runners take shorter, quicker strides, they can actually reduce their impact and put less stress on their joints. And that wasn't even the worst part. Studies have shown that simply making a few small adjustments to running form can decrease the risk of overuse injuries by up to 50%. Now I know what you're thinking. If shorter strides are so effective, why don't all runners do it? Well, here's the thing. It takes time and practice to develop proper running form. And it's not just about getting rid of your old habits, it's also about learning new ones. But the next day changed everything for me when I started incorporating strength training into my routine. At first, I was skeptical. I thought that lifting weights would somehow interfere with my running progress. But what I quickly realized is that strengthening my core and glutes actually helped me run more efficiently and reduce my risk of injury. And it's not just about the physical benefits. Having stronger muscles can also help runners develop better running form. But I didn't know it yet. But the most surprising thing about strength training was how it improved my mental game. When I started feeling stronger and more confident in my abilities, I found that I was able to push myself harder during runs without getting discouraged by setbacks or plateaus. And that wasn't even the best part. Studies have shown that runners who incorporate strength training into their routine can actually see improvements in their running times and endurance. Now you might be thinking, what about all those runners who swear by minimalist shoes? Don't they reduce the impact of running on your joints? Well, here's the thing. While minimalist shoes may feel more natural to run in, they're not necessarily the best choice for everyone. In fact, some studies have shown that runners who wear minimalist shoes may actually be putting themselves at greater risk of injury. And it's not just about the shoes, it's also about the surfaces we run on. While concrete and asphalt can be tough on our joints, grass and dirt can actually provide a softer impact and reduce our risk of overuse injuries. But here's what nobody tells you about running on different surfaces. It's not just about finding the softest surface, it's also about how we react to different terrain. When runners are faced with uneven or hilly terrain, they often try to compensate by taking longer strides or adjusting their posture. But this can actually make things worse and put more stress on our joints. So what do you do instead? Well, I found that learning to adapt to different surfaces was key. It's not about changing who we are as runners, but rather how we respond to the challenges we face. And finally, here's a question that still doesn't add up. Why do so many running experts recommend doing long runs on Sunday mornings? Doesn't this just set us up for overuse injuries and burnout? Well, it turns out that the traditional approach to marathon training is actually based on outdated science, and what we need instead are new approaches that take into account our unique needs and goals as runners. In conclusion, I still don't know if I'd do it again, but one thing's for sure. When it comes to running, there's more to the story than we often give credit. So next time you lace up your shoes, remember that every step counts, and not just in terms of miles logged or PRs set. Take a look at the idea that all runners need to do is run more to improve their performance. What if we told you that's actually a myth? Research has shown that increasing mileage doesn't always lead to faster times, and in fact, can sometimes have the opposite effect. So why do so many running coaches still swear by volume, as the key to success. It turns out they're relying on outdated studies from the 1970s and 80s, which just didn't account for modern training methods. But what about all those runners who seem to get faster with each passing year? How are they doing it if increasing mileage doesn't work? The answer lies in something called periodization, a strategy where you alternate between periods of intense training and recovery. This approach was pioneered by Russian coaches back in the 60s, but somehow never made its way into mainstream running culture. And yet, it's been proven time and time again to produce faster results with less risk of injury. But what about beginners? Don't they need to build up their endurance before trying to run fast? Well, here's a surprise. Research suggests that beginners can actually start seeing improvements in just a few short weeks, even if they're not logging many miles. It all comes down to how you approach your runs. Focusing on short intervals and proper recovery is often more effective than plodding along for hours each day. And speaking of recovery, what about the idea that we need to run every single day to stay sharp? While it's true that regular running can help maintain fitness levels, overdoing it like this can actually lead to mental burnout. So what do successful runners actually do well? Some of them take a full week off from running each month. Yes, you read that right, and it's called the reset phase. One coach we talked to explained it like this. When you're constantly pushing yourself to run every day, your body starts to adapt in ways that can actually work against you. By giving yourself time to recover, you allow your muscles to repair themselves and come back stronger than ever before. It's a radical idea, but one that's producing results for runners at all levels. Now let's tackle another myth. The notion that we need to hit the pavement at the crack of dawn if we want to get a good workout in. While some people swear by morning runs, research actually suggests that it's not as important as we think and that evening runs can be just as effective. In fact, one study found that runners who trained later in the day had a significant boost in performance compared to those who ran early in the morning. It's all about the body's natural rhythm, you see. When we wake up, our cortisol levels are at their highest, which is perfect for a quick burst of energy, but not ideal for sustained exercise. Meanwhile, in the evening, our cortisol levels drop and our bodies start to wind down, preparing us for sleep. This makes it easier for our muscles to recover from the day's activities, including a long run. Of course, there are still some benefits to running in the morning, like that natural energy boost we mentioned earlier. But if you're struggling to fit in a workout during your lunch break or after dinner, don't worry. An evening run is perfectly fine. Just be sure to give yourself enough time to recover before bed, so you can get a good night's sleep and do it all again the next day. Another myth we need to debunk is that running has to be grueling if we want to see real results. While some people swear by the hard work approach, where they push themselves to run as far or fast as possible every single time out, this isn't always the best strategy, especially for beginners. In fact, studies have shown that running at a moderate intensity can be just as effective, if not more so, than running at high intensity. This is because our bodies are designed to adapt to repetitive stress in a very specific way, by getting stronger and more efficient over time. When we push ourselves too hard, on the other hand, we can actually end up doing more harm than good, like burning out or even injuring ourselves. So if you're just starting out with running, don't feel like you have to go all out every single time. Start slow, build up your endurance, and let your body do its thing. But what about those who are already experienced runners? Can they still benefit from a more relaxed approach? Believe it or not, yes, and in some cases, even more so than beginners. You see, as we get older, our bodies start to change in ways that can make running more difficult, like decreased flexibility, reduced cardiovascular efficiency, and greater muscle mass loss. So what's the solution? For one thing, listening to your body is key. If you're feeling tired or sore after a run, it might be time to take it easy, even if that means skipping an interval session or two. And for another thing, incorporating strength training into your routine can make all the difference in maintaining fitness levels as we age.